This got out of hand.
You break the rules.
Look out!
Become a hero. I do it, I become the enemy. It doesn't seem fair.
We should tell him the truth.
Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be my Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness video for that Scarlet Witch variant in the movie. That's right, there's two of them, and even though one of them is going to be worse than the other, both of them seem totally hardcore in the best possible way. Both of them are going to wreck in this movie. I know there's lots of questions about how Nexus beings work because Scarlet Witch is a Nexus being in the MCU. I'll explain that too. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We're going to get more trailers and footage for this while the Moon Knight episodes are releasing, and I will be doing videos for all the Moon Knight episodes too. But we've all watched the Super Bowl trailer footage a billion times. There's so many WTF moments and surprises like Multiverse X-Men from the Fox Marvel movies, Patrick Stewart's Professor X coming back, Superior Iron Man, Fantastic Four characters. We're just scratching the surface. There's so many more surprises in this movie we don't know about yet.
You thought I was asleep, didn't you? Acting.
But the trailer also confirms a major plot twist. For at least a solid part of the movie, Scarlet Witch will be the main villain. I think it's better to say main antagonist though, because she's a member of the Avengers. Normally you'd think of her as a good character who's just extremely capricious, given to extreme mood swings. And it is clear from this trailer footage, her mood has swung in the opposite direction. It's like a way more hardcore version of that Spider-Man vs. Doctor Strange fight in Spider-Man No Way Home. Yes, Spider-Man did fight Doctor Strange, but he did have a good reason for it, or he felt like he had a good reason. It was a fight with the same energy of Captain America Civil War, with Iron Man versus Captain America. They play it with a vibe that allows you to pick a side and not feel like you're totally wrong, no matter who you wind up siding with. But in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, the Scarlet Witch scenes with both versions of the character, MCU Scarlet Witch and her variant, all come off as way more sinister, way darker. I mean, in a good way, it's going to be awesome to watch. But this is Sam Raimi we're talking about directing the movie, and he's first and foremost a horror movie guy before he ever started making Spider-Man and Marvel movies. But in the movie, one of these versions of Scarlet Witch has to be worse than the other, so if they're both hardcore, which one is more evil? MCU Scarlet Witch that we just saw in WandaVision, she's wearing her costume through all this trailer footage, or the new variant that we see who she finds in another universe version of Westview in her home from WandaVision, with a version of Billy and Tommy. No Vision in sight in any of this footage yet. We'll have to wait and see if they bring back a version of Vision for these alternate universe Westview scenes. But we see MCU Scarlet Witch tricking Doctor Strange when he comes to see her, asking her for help with the multiverse. It seems like this whole area here is an illusion, like she's created another Hex-like illusion to make it seem like this picturesque landscape. In these scenes where she's talking to him about how it's unfair that everyone thinks he's a hero for breaking the rules of the multiverse, but everyone thinks that she's a villain for doing the same thing, it seems like she's taken down the illusion and the landscape around them is all red and desolate. Then you see MCU Scarlet Witch attacking Kamar-Taj. Zoom in and enhance, this is her up in the sky rolling in with the clouds, getting ready to rain fire on all of them. All these scenes of her are inside Kamar-Taj, like you see Doctor Strange fighting someone with these spells. It seems like it's Scarlet Witch he's trying to fight, protecting America Chavez. Notice the darkness around Scarlet Witch's eyes and the black coloring on her fingers when she's in this circle floating in the air. That's what Agatha Harkness's hands looked like on WandaVision. So it implies that she learned some really dark spells, forbidden spells from the Darkhold, and she's using that magic here. Then you see America Chavez all strung up, being forced to open this portal to another universe. That's what's happening behind her here. And even though there's this magical creature yelling at her here, there's red light coming from inside it. So I think this supports the theory that Scarlet Witch is attacking Kamar-Taj, forcing America Chavez to help her travel the multiverse to find Billy and Tommy. And she's just using her chaos magic here to create this apparition. And that's how MCU Scarlet Witch winds up in this alternate universe version of Westview with this other Scarlet Witch variant, who seems none too pleased to see her. You can see Billy and Tommy's scooters and their toys in the ground behind them here too. So you know the twins are somewhere else inside this universe. But then here's the thing, we have this multiverse version of the Illuminati that arrests Doctor Strange, MCU Doctor Strange and America Chavez. You can see her in the cell here, while it seems like Doctor Strange has been taken to the face of the council before everything goes crazy. But when things do go crazy, it's the other Scarlet Witch variant who's got what seems like blood all over her. That could be oil from all these Ultron robots. She's got this very distant but very crazy look in her eye as she's looking at America Chavez in the cells, and then fights this Maria Rambeau Captain Marvel variant at some point. Like, this version of Scarlet Witch has been destroying the Illuminati base to get to America Chavez. So here's the deal. If MCU Scarlet Witch is the one attacking Kamar Taj to get America Chavez so she can find Billy and Tommy in the multiverse, why is this Scarlet Witch variant, who was already living with a version of the twins, going all ham on everyone in the Illuminati like a villain? My early theory, just based on the footage that we've gotten so far, is that MCU Scarlet Witch is actually the villain in this scenario here. If you want to call her a villain, she's a villain like Winter Soldier was a villain. I'll get into that in a second too, because they're kind of playing her like Winter Soldier during this scenario. Good character who just does a lot of really, really bad stuff. An MCU Scarlet Witch might be using Darkhold forbidden spells to secretly control this other Scarlet Witch variant so that it only seems like this alternate one is an actual villain in this scenario. Like, our MCU Scarlet Witch is using the extra chaos magic spell she learned from the Darkhold, and somehow she's able to control this other Scarlet Witch from across the multiverse, possess her in some way to make her do all these things, kill all these people to get America Chavez back. And I think the reason why she's crying here when both of them meet each other in this version of Westview in another universe is mostly because she's happy crying, like she's found a version of Billy and Tommy, finally, but she's also crying because she's kind of sad. She knows what terrible things she's going to have to do in order to take Billy and Tommy from this other Scarlet Witch, and to prevent the multiverse Illuminati from stopping her. So if we're making Captain America Civil War comparisons here, because that's kind of the vibe with some of this footage, heroes fighting heroes, everyone kind of going off the rails for mostly good reasons on both sides, but a lot of them making very bad choices. MCU Scarlet Witch would be the Bucky of this scenario, darker character who's done a lot of terrible things but's trying to be good, but sometimes they just can't help themselves. Doctor Strange would be like Captain America, sympathizing with MCU Scarlet Witch but trying to stop her from doing something really, really bad. And all the multiverse Illuminati characters, all those variants, would be like Team Iron Man on the other side of the equation, trying to shut all this down and lock them up to prevent them from messing with all of reality even more. Like the version of Baron Mordo in the trailer who's got that dialogue that says, "Your crimes against reality cannot go unpunished." The Illuminati seem like they really want to punish either Scarlet Witch or Doctor Strange because both of them have been messing with reality recently. So if you want to say that one of these versions of Scarlet Witch is more evil than the others or worse than the others, it'd be MCU Scarlet Witch, theoretically. But because I know there's a lot of questions about how Nexus beings work, because Scarlet Witch is supposed to be a Nexus being, so how can there be different versions of her? Nexus beings are special focal points, special anchors for reality in each universe, and because of that, they all wield immense power. Usually in each universe, though, the Nexus being is a different character, like Kang, for instance, is also a Nexus being. And usually what that's meant in the past is that the Nexus being is almost exactly the same in each universe. Like in every universe, Wanda is always Scarlet Witch. There's no universe out there where a version of Loki becomes the Scarlet Witch.
Can't see into the future, I'm not a witch.
No? Why'd you dress like one?
What it seems like they're doing in the MCU is they're saying this other Scarlet Witch variant wearing the regular street clothes is also a Scarlet Witch in her universe. She's the same, but she just hasn't learned to use her powers as well as MCU Scarlet Witch has, and she doesn't have a version of the Darkhold like MCU Scarlet Witch had. But both of them have the same chaos magic powers. They're just wearing different clothes, have different hairstyles, so you can tell them apart. So that's how MCU Scarlet Witch could control this version of Scarlet Witch and use her to attack all the Illuminati. I think the real question, though, at the end of the day, is whether or not someone is manipulating MCU Scarlet Witch, and what are they going to do in the movie to save her from truly turning into a villain, like going beyond the point of no return. Because I don't think that Kevin Feige wants to throw Scarlet Witch under the bus. She's going to be a big character in Marvel Phase 4, Marvel Phase 5 going forward. So at some point, they have to save her from herself. My early theory right now, just without seeing more footage, is that she'll see how happy Billy and Tommy are with this other variant living their life, and she'll be unable to tear them away from their happiness. Ultimately, she'll realize that she can't destroy their happiness for selfish reasons in order to fill this gaping emotional hole inside herself. So if anybody's going to be saving Scarlet Witch at the end of the day, it's probably going to be Billy and Tommy. But it'll be like an emotional kind of moment. If you saw my trailer video that I did after the Super Bowl came out, I made the comparison to Voltron Legendary Defender. There was a very similar twist with the way they ended that series too. But another early theory is that what will probably happen after the movie for like the rest of Marvel Phase 4, Marvel Phase 5, is that Scarlet Witch will try to atone for all the terrible stuff she does during this movie. also getting herself some serious therapy, just like Bucky was doing during Falcon and Winter Soldier.
James, I asked you a question. Are you still having nightmares?
Some of you probably already made this connection, but it seems like MCU Scarlet Witch is on a similar arc as Winter Soldier. Like, really dark character, dark past, done some bad stuff, but they're slowly gonna start working through all their trauma. I will do more videos for all these Illuminati characters soon, so post all your video requests in the comments if you have big questions about trailer moments. Everyone click here for my full Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer video, and click here for my full Moon Knight Super Bowl trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.